You ready for live chat? Quit you enjoying the soccer team. Make sure you share this video, man. Y'all know how we do. We coming with a little bit of a different kind of energy today. You know what I mean? But share this video. Make sure that you follow my page and set it to see first because I'm at my friend limit. But follow my page, set it to see first, especially if you're a musician or if you just need some positive energy throughout your week because, you know, Facebook is not the place for that by itself. You know what I mean? But yeah, do all of that. Once again, welcome to the live chat, the artist live chat. I'm so proud of you guys, man. I'm proud of what we got going on here. I'm proud of this establishment. You know what I mean? Welcome to the artist live chat. Let me say that again. Welcome to the artist live chat for the musician, by the musician. You know what I mean? Designed to help your career excel wherever you are. If you never recorded a song before, if you never recorded a music before, if you've never experienced a music career, pursuing it, or if you're thinking about it, if you're stuck in your career, if you don't know what to do next, if you're not sure what your next step is as a producer, artist, songwriter, this is the place for you to be. You know what I mean? This is the place for you to be. Make sure you share this video. Actually, you know what? I haven't done it in a while. I think I'm gonna start sharing myself as well. I think I'm gonna start sharing again as well. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. But you know what I mean? Share the video. Tag a musician if you know any. You know what I mean? If you got a camp, if you got a group of people that you're doing music with or a team, make sure they're here too. I mean, you make sure they're here too because you don't want it. I guarantee you're gonna disband yourself from that group if they're not keeping up with what you're learning here. You know what I mean? So if they're not keeping up, you're gonna disband. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works. Make sure your group is here too. You know what I mean? So with that being said, man, let me get a few shares in. I forgot how to share actually. Yeah, I guess we shared like publicly or something like that. Whatever. Yeah, that's how you share it. It's been a while since I used this feature. Make sure you share the video, man. We got some important stuff to talk about today. I still don't think you guys understand. Well, I won't say still, but I don't think you understand the position you're in this streaming culture. You know what I mean? I don't think you understand the position you're in the streaming culture. You feel me? Now, who recalls what I said about streaming before? Molly Mall, what's good with you, man? Let me shout y'all out. Deuce, what's good with you, bro? Yasmin, what's good with you? KJ, what's good with you? Mono, what's good, man? Michael Logan, what's good with you? Tally Toso, what's good with you? Mark Martin, what's good with you? Much love to you guys, man. Key, what's good with you? Shadal, what's good with you, man? Much love to you guys. Yo, much love to you guys. Make sure y'all share this video, man. Let's get a nice audience in here today. Or let's get the people who are serious in here today. You know what I mean? Let's get the artists who are serious in here because, you know, that's what this is all about. You know, it's a wave of hobbyists. It's a wave of hobbyists as it always will be. But we want to focus on the ones who are really trying to make a career out of this thing or the ones who are trying to take it to another level. You know what I mean? I'm going to share the one more group and we're going to get started, man. I'm going to share the one more group and we're going to get started, man. AZX, what's good with you? Willie, what's good with you? Much love to you guys, man. Much love to you guys, man. Yeah. So tell me, what have we learned about streaming in this live chat? What have we learned about streaming so far? I got to see where we are. I got to see where matter of fact, not only the live chat, what do you know about streaming? You feel me? Give me every detail that you can. You know what I mean? I want details from everybody. I want everybody to tell me, what have you learned about streaming or what do you know about streaming? That way I'll know how I need to approach this based off of what you tell me. What's a way to get a good manager? You got to try them out. You know what I mean? You got to give them a 6-month period. You got to give them a 6-month period to make something shake for you. You know what I mean? If they can't make it shake in 6 months, then you disband. Make sure there's a clause in there for you to get out if they're not producing results quick enough in 6 months. 6 months should be enough time for anybody to make something work. You know what I mean? It should be enough to make it should be enough time to make anything work for anybody. So if 6 months pass and they're not doing their job or they're not bringing any results in, then you disband and you find somebody else. But that's the only way to find a good manager is if you give them a shot. You know what I mean? Everybody's different. Every situation is different, but you'll never know until you try. You know what I mean? What do you guys know about streaming? Tell me what you know about streaming so far. You know what I mean? Or tell me what you've learned from streaming from here or wherever in your music endeavors. What have you learned about streaming? Much love to you guys, man. Mo, what's good with you? Court Johnson, what's good with you? Because we in a climate right now, man. We in a different kind of climate with this music thing. You know what I mean? We're in a different kind of climate. I don't think is flooding content bad for streaming. Honestly, no. You know what I mean? Knowing yes. That's a good question, actually. When it comes to streaming, Willie asks, is flooding content bad for streaming? No, because you have what streaming is, what it allows you to do is to have a music library where people can come and listen to all of your music. So in that matter, that's a good thing. But there's a way for streaming to be bad for you if you're dropping loads of content. There's a way for that to be a bad move as well. We gonna get into that, bro. We gonna get into that. You know what I mean? Streaming is taking over. You know what I mean? Everybody's streaming right now. It's just what's going on. We can't avoid that. You know what I mean? We can't avoid, or we can't say we're not going to do it. Plenty of artists are saying they're not going to be doing streaming. They're not going to be using streaming, and they got their reasons. You know what I mean? They have their reasons. If you recall from the last few live chats, or every time we get on, I feel like I pretty much cover on this topic. In the world of today, artists are being paid extremely under the norm. They're being paid extremely under. As an artist, streaming is not going to get you a lot of money. You know what I mean? Streaming is not going to get you a lot of money up front because you're being paid half pennies. You know what I mean? If you recall, every live chat, I'm always telling you guys, streaming is not the way to go, because I won't say not the way to go, but it's not the main focus. It should never be your main focus because you're being paid 0.005 or 0.002 cents for every stream. So it takes an immense amount of work for you to even get to $1 for your streams. With that being said, I don't want you guys to misinterpret what I'm telling you into saying you're not to be using your streaming, or you're not to get a DistroKid, or you're not to put your music on as many platforms as possible that are monetized. You know what I mean? By the way, if you got any questions, make sure you ask them. Don't just wait. Don't wait around and let me talk all day. If you got questions, make sure you ask them. But today's topic for me is streaming. We're going back into streaming because I'm getting a lot of questions, and I'm getting a lot of emails. I'm getting a lot of messages, and I'm hearing a lot of artists that I consult with. I'm hearing a lot of them talk about their current approach to their music, and I'm worried. I'm a bit worried. You know what I mean? I'm a bit worried because I'm afraid that you guys will. I'm afraid that you guys will use your best years to only pursue being paid by your music, and by the time that you're in a position where you could be better off, you won't have made as much as you could have, or you'll waste your time only focusing on one avenue. You know what I mean? Streaming is a bad avenue monetarily. As far as money is concerned, streaming is a terrible avenue for any artist that's planning on being financially stable from their music within the next year. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but for any independent artist that's just starting out or just beginning to take their career serious, streaming is a bad avenue monetarily for you to focus on if you plan on being financially stable with your music. Is a Muse IO good for streaming? I'm not sure what that is, bro. Maybe you could fill me in on what that is. Is that a new streaming platform? A Muse IO. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah. It's just the way that it is. You know what I mean? I'm gonna break it down for you guys and make so you can realize where I'm coming from. What about United Masters? Been hearing about it lately. United Masters, is that a mastering firm? Like they master your music for you or something like that? If they master your music for you, that's not a bad idea. It's cost effective. But sometimes you got to be careful. It can sometimes they don't live up to, or they can't compare to a analog master from an actual individual, because that stuff is computer generated. You know what I mean? It's computer generated, but master, if you in the beginning, if it's cost effective for you to save money and get your stuff mastered digitally, go for it, bro. Just make sure it's properly mixed first. You know what I mean? Just make sure it's properly mixed first. It's a free service like DistroKid. Hey man, DistroKid is the best one so far. $30 will get you everything that you need in order to start your independent career with the proper distribution. You know what I mean? DistroKid is the way to go as far as I'm concerned. I haven't heard of anything else that's matching it with what they offer at the moment. So I would say go with them. You know what I mean? Unless Amuse offers the same thing, you keep all royalties from Amuse. I think you do from DistroKid as well. I think you do from them as well. I think you keep all, and they're unlimited. You know what I'm saying? They're unlimited. So it's like it's not really a battle if it's not unlimited music. Artificial intelligence mastering. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's an artificial intelligence. So it's not mastering based off of what it feels. It's only mastering based off of algorithms and coding of sound waves. You feel me? So you're probably not going to get as precise of a master from an artificial intelligence as you're going to get from a person's ear. You feel me? So, in the beginning, they say with United Masters, you keep all your royalties just trying to get the right info on it. Oh, so that's like distribution. If it's distribution, then, try it out, I suppose. You can only figure out by trying, but DistroKid has the best, it offers the best services at the moment. That's what I would say. But here's the thing. The most important thing for you to realize is I don't want you guys focusing on streaming like it's the end all be all. I don't want you focusing on streaming like it's the only way for you to get paid out here. It's the easiest, but at the same time, you also not getting even half of your money. You know what I mean? You're not even getting half of your money, bro. Like with DistroKid, you think about it in the streaming era, you only getting paid half pennies for what you do as an artist. You know what I mean? You only getting paid half pennies. So I don't care if they tell you get to keep all your royalties or not. What's the turnover on royalties of half pennies? You feel me? If you get to keep half pennies, but at the end of the day, you still haven't made $1 yet. You know what I mean? However, what I'm about to say is contradictory. That does not mean that you don't put your music on streaming platforms, because that's what everybody's using. And you'll be missing out on your fan base's platform, or on your potential platforms for your fan base if you don't use it. But at the same time, you're not getting paid for it. So what does that mean you need to do? What does it mean you need to do? What's good, homie? Dream Greedy Entertainment. What's good with you, bro? Over on YouTube. Much love to everybody on YouTube, man. Much love to you guys, bro. We do this, by the way, we do this every Sunday, bro. Every Sunday at 6 p.m. for the artists that buy my beats, for the artists that come to my studio, that I consult with on live chats, all of that, like through live video and everything. I like to host live chats to where we can come together as a community and actually get your careers to the next level. Because you can buy beats from anybody. Let's be honest. You can buy beats from anybody, but that doesn't, I've sold so many beats, and I know producers who sold so many beats online, but the artists never blow up. You know what I mean? You guys, you never heard of an artist hitting the #1 billboards and say, yeah, I got this beat from this producer on YouTube, and it was up from there. You know why? Because the artists and the producers don't have a connection on YouTube. You feel me? No offense to anybody who's doing that, but it's just, I like to have that connection with my clients. You feel me? So that's why we do this every Sunday at 6 p.m. You know what I mean? Just letting you know, just in case you want to become a part of the community and come every time. You feel me? Is it good to learn to master your own music? I'll be honest with you, bro. I'll be honest with you. If you got the time to learn it, yeah. But considering that music careers are here today and gone tomorrow, you may not have the time for it, bro. You know what I mean? You may not have the time for it. And your fan base isn't going to wait for you to learn. You know what I mean? Your fan base isn't going to wait for you to become the next big mixing and mastering engineer. They're not going to wait for you to learn it so they can enjoy your music. In the meantime, while you're learning, make sure that you invest in getting somebody to do it professionally before you release your music. You know what I mean? That's all that I'll say about it. I recommend every artist learn how to master, how to mix, and how to get their music to a professional stand or a professional presentation. But in the meantime, you don't got time to waste learning that without putting anything out. You know what I mean? So it's a balance. It's a balance that has to take place. You know what I mean? It's a balance that has to take place. Just like what I mean with streaming, bro. You're not going to get paid from that up front. You're not going to make any kind of money until you can get to the point where you're clearing about 1 million streams per song, or 1 million streams per month. Don't expect a whole lot from it, bro. Don't expect a whole lot from streaming at all. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, don't expect a whole lot from anything in your career until you get to the point where you can secure a certain amount of streams, or a certain amount of views, or a certain amount of sales. But streaming is at the bottom. You know what I mean? Streaming is at the bottom. At least if you sell merchandise, you can make $30-$40 right off the gate. You know what I mean? If you're selling merchandise, you can make $30-$40 right out the gate, even $100 right out the gate, depending on what you're selling. So you can hit the ground running with that kind of stuff and prosper quickly. You know what I mean? As an artist. But just keep that balance going. You know what I mean? That's the most important thing, is for you to keep that balance going. I want you to realize that it's much more out here than just streaming. You know what I mean? The most important thing that I'm trying to get across to you guys today is so much more out here besides streaming. Don't fall for that trap. Don't fall for that trap. Don't be the artist out here that's still excited because you got your music on all platforms. You know what I mean? Don't be the artist out here that's excited because your music got the Apple Music. You know what I mean? Because you got your music on Spotify. Because you got your music on what else is hot? Google Play, or whatever everybody's using, Tidal. It's much more work to be put in than that. You know what I mean? It's so much more work that you got to put in besides that. You feel me? It's so much. So what's the best way to build your name for yourself and your music? Consistency, bro. Consistency. You know what I mean? Consistency makes it just makes it work. You feel me? I know artists who have a habit. They have a habit of dropping two. And let me rephrase that, because don't go dropping music crazy. I know artists who have a habit of dropping music too soon, or dropping song after song after song, and they still don't even have 1,000 or 10,000 views on their first video or on their first record. You feel me? So don't drop your music back to back, because you're just wasting it. You're wasting it, bro. You know what I mean? You're wasting it. So when I say consistency, that means that people are constantly seeing that song that you're working with. People are constantly seeing that project that you're working with. People are constantly seeing your face. People are constantly seeing your posts, and you're constantly putting out good content. You feel me? So that's the only way that you can build a name. That's the only reason you know about your favorite restaurant, because they're constantly advertising to you, or you constantly go there. You know what I mean? It's kind of different with music, though, because, depending on where you live, it's not that nobody's looking for you to, what I mean? Nobody's looking for the next big artist. Nobody cares that you make music in the beginning. So like every 2 to 3 months, drop a song. Not necessarily. You know what I mean? Because it's quality over quantity when it comes to songs. When it comes to dropping your songs, it's quality over quantity. But when it comes to your advertisements or your promotion of your song, that's where the consistency comes into play at. You know what I mean? So when it comes to you dropping your songs directly, I can't say drop song a song every 2 to 3 months. You can if you like, or you can if you have the fan base to manage that. You feel me? If you don't have a fan base to drop 2 or 3 songs a month, you're just wasting music. You know what I mean? You're wasting music. But if you have a fan base that is dedicated to listening to your songs every month, or every 2 months, every 3 months, they're looking for something new. Yeah, it all depends. You know what I mean? there's no music career that's exactly the same. Everybody in here has a different career. You know what I mean? Some of you may have fans. Some of you may not. Some of you may have a few, but you don't have enough to live off of yet. It all depends. It all really depends. You know what I mean? It all really depends. But speaking of streaming, or speaking of artistry, fun fact. It's a fun fact. I actually decided to release a record. You know what I mean? Now I don't rap, or I'm not a rapper. I'm not trying to be an artist or anything, but I actually decided to release a record to a small population last week. You know what I mean? Last week. So that really opened my eyes a lot to the fact that what I'm speaking about is true. You know what I mean? So I took a step into the artist standpoint, from the artist perspective, released a song, and actually got a good response from it in that small sample that I tested it on. Not even tested, you know what I mean? Because I released it for a very specific reason. It was important, but I can speak from experience that everything that I'm telling you guys here today, everything that I've been telling you, everything that I tell you whenever we come to these live chats, it definitely works. You know what I mean? It definitely works. Had I put the song up for streaming, I probably could have made a little bit of money, but that wasn't my aim, though. That wasn't my aim to do so. Would you recommend saving up to drop a song with a big name rapper? If you're going to stream it, yeah. You know what I mean? If you're going to stream it, yes, but you just I would try to get a package. If you can get a package, if you can get a feature and a video, a feature and a video from them, and promotion, like for them to promote it on their page, yes, I would definitely say invest in a rapper's verse, but it depends on who it is too. You know what I mean? It all depends on who it really is. You can pay $5,000, you could pay $5,000 for a verse from a rapper, but if they're not promoting it, if they're leaving a promotion to you and you didn't even get a video for it, that may not be a good idea, bro. You know what I mean? That may not be a good idea. So make sure that you're getting your money's worth for that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? If you're going to pay for a feature, you should be able to get a verse, you should be able to get a video, and you should be able to get some promotion from that, from their personal social medias. You know what I mean? That's the way that I look at it. Don't just spend money for the verse, because you got verses. You got enough verses to do whatever you need to do with. You got enough verses to do whatever you need to do with. Rashad, you're right about that, bro. It's a lot of stuff to cover. You know what I mean? You got to cover your behind out here, man. You got to cover your behind out here. I know so many artists who purchase features. I know so many artists who purchase features and truly believe that to be what was going to push them over the edge, but it's like, no, it just doesn't. You know what I mean? It just really doesn't. It just really doesn't. Ask any artist, just put it out. Ask an artist, how many of you got major features? You'll be surprised. A lot of them do. A lot of them have major features, but a lot of them just don't know how to promote it. They don't know where to put it. They don't know how to push the music. So those features will go forever unknown. You know what I mean? And they'll eventually get too old. Eventually they'll get too old. And eventually you just wasted all your money. So you don't want to do that. Some of you guys may have done that, and I'm not picking, but I'm just letting you know what not to do and what to do next time. You know what I mean? AZX, answer me this. What would I have to what would I have to manage? You know what I mean? What do you have for me to manage? That's the question that I would ask anybody. You know what I mean? That's an important question. Make sure you answer that wisely. You know what I mean? If you answer it properly, you never know. I just might be able to do so. But you got to answer that question properly. You got to have something for me to manage. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about just booking studio sessions or booking studio sessions or writing rhyme. You know what I mean? That's stuff that you can do on your own. But what would you need me to particularly manage? That's the question. When should you drop a project? KVSC TV. That's a good question. That's a good question. When should you drop a project? if you're just starting out, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard, and it's gonna be very hard to get people to even listen to one of your songs. To listen to one of your songs if you do drop a project. You know what I mean? You can drop projects. I know people who drop 10 projects and still don't have an accumulation of 20,000 views. So that's the realities of it. It can get very difficult, but I would say for your first go around, you should drop a small EP. You know what I mean? You can do this whenever, honestly. You can do this whenever. You don't have to wait for the right time, but just make sure that the music is all there when you decide to drop. You know what I mean? Just make sure that the music is all there when you decide to drop. KVSC asked me, when should you drop a project? So you don't have, it's really necessarily no time to drop, but a few things are involved with that. Make sure it's a small EP because you don't want to overload people. You know what I mean? Make sure it's a small EP, no more than 7 to 6 songs. Honestly, 5 is ideal. 4 to 5 is ideal. But if you got to put 6 or 7, that's cool too. You don't want to waste that ammunition though. You know what I mean? So 4 to 5 songs for your first EP. Not only that, but you also have to make sure, you also got to make sure that you choose your single. You know what I mean? You also got to make sure that you choose your single, and your single needs to be the second song on the project. Excuse me. Your single needs to be the second song on the project. Can anybody answer that? Why? As to why? Can anybody tell me why your single needs to be the second song on your project? And all of a sudden, every artist in here was like, oh shit, I didn't do that. It's cool though. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We here to fix that. I'm here to explain to you why that's the case. My money, music, distribution, and social media. I mean, but you know, that's stuff you can do, bro. You know what I mean? That's stuff you can do. Your money, I'm pretty, you know how to count. You know what I mean? Your distribution, DistroKid honestly handles that for you. And social media, you would, I mean, you almost had me there, but you know what I mean? For social media, it's honestly, that's not your main focus. You know what I mean? That's not what your main focus would be. That stuff you can all do. You can do all of that stuff. Now, what a manager is supposed to do by nature, a manager is supposed to take over for the things that are bringing, you know, for the when you're profitable as an artist, a manager is supposed to take over the things that are bringing in the money that you can't control, that or you can't handle, because you're either on tour, you're either in the studio, or you're to a point where you plateaued and you need someone to manage it in order to increase the situation. A manager ain't supposed to be handling your money. You know what I mean? Not more than you are. Your distribution, you know, DistroKid is out there, bro. Like DistroKid to give you all the distribution you need. So you can handle that stuff. But you know, for any manager, like for me to be a manager to somebody, it sounds crazy, but the artist will already have to be profitable, and they will already have to understand the basics about doesn't media mean fans? So media equals more fans, right? Media is only the channel, bro. Media is only the channel. You know what I mean? It's like having a car without a battery. You got a channel or you got a means of transportation, but you don't have that plug or that buzz or that battery to make it move. You feel me? So social media is only the car, but the battery is going to be your marketing. It's going to be your branding. It's going to be your methods to get your music to the people, to make that connection. You know what I mean? Always be the best song on the tape. SB, you close, bro. You close. You very close. You know what I mean? You very close. You kind of said it without saying it. You know what I mean? You kind of said it without saying it. You pretty much just said it without saying it, bro. You know what I mean? Why should your second song be the single? Why should your second song be the single? Let me explain it to you guys. Right quick. You know what I mean? It's very simple and basic, honestly. But you know, what's good ways to promote the EP? We about to get into that, Trimson. We about to get into that. people's attention spans. A lot of this stuff, like anything music related, let's be honest, anything music related is going to be associated with attention span nowadays. You know what I mean? Anything that has to do with music or anything that has to do with you trying to get somebody's attention, it's all, or business, is all related to attention span. You know what I mean? You think stuff like DistroKid, or you think stuff like Apple Music would work if people's attention spans were too short for music? You know what I mean? You think things like drive-throughs or any kind of business would work if people's attention spans were too short? So it's all about attention span, right? When you drop music, when you drop projects with 10 to 20 songs on them, or 10 to 25 songs on them, people's attention spans ain't there no more. They never were there to begin with. You know what I mean? They never were there to begin with. So you be wasting your time putting together a project with a whole bunch of songs, and people are barely going to get through the first 5 songs, or people are barely going to get through the first 6 songs on that 20 project EP, or that 20 song EP. You know what I mean? So you got to use it carefully. You got to use that attention span that you have carefully. Your first song is the intro. Boom. That's an introductory to what they're about to receive. If they feeling that, they're going to go on to the next track. You know what I mean? They're going to go to the next track. Just so lucky for you, that next track is your single, or that next track is the one that you're pushing. You feel me? It's just psychology, bro. It's a whole bunch of psychology going on with business. It's all about the way that people react, or the way that people receive your product. Your product is your music, and if they're not going to listen to the whole project up front, at least you can make sure that they're going to hear your single, and that may determine whether or not they want to keep listening to the rest of the project. You know, that may determine whether they want to listen to the rest of the project. Now, I've seen small EPs where the single is. For sure. Johnson, appreciate you for coming through, bro. It's all love, man. Always appreciate you for coming through. Getting creative with content is the hardest for me. I saw a manager say once, it's best to have at least 3 weeks worth of promo content ready in advance before a launch with. Honestly, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. You know what I mean? Having that content before you need it is going to save you a ton of headaches, and it's going to give you mental capacity to think about your next move. You know what I mean? If I were campaigning a record as a rapper, you know what I mean? Because let's be honest, as like an R&B singer or guitarist or something like that, you don't have to have a whole bunch of content, because, you know, let's be honest, the climate that music is in for rappers is so wild, because anybody can rap. Like literally anybody can rap. Anybody can call themselves a rapper. So the value on a rap verse is down here. You feel me? The excitement or the entertainment is up here, but the value on the verses are down here. So you just can't drop good music as a rapper, or you just can't drop music as a rapper and say that's going to be enough to get me by. You feel me? You have to have a bunch of content. You have to have a ton of content as a rapper to keep yourself relevant. You feel me? Whether that be the video, you know, snaps, whether that your stories, pictures, you need to have a portfolio. What were we talking about? One of the last live chats. You need a portfolio. You got to have a portfolio of videos or pictures for people to stay updated with what you're doing. You know what I mean? So that's very important as a rapper. Most importantly, you need to have a bunch or a ton of content for your business, so you can keep people satisfied. 3 weeks worth is hard to do, I guess. You know what I mean? It's pretty easy. All you gotta do is take pictures, but you know, that's not a bad idea. You know what I mean? KVSC, that's a good idea. I'm glad you told me that. I'm glad you came and said that, bro. You know what I mean? That's not a bad idea for people to apply. You need content. You gotta have content out here. You know what I mean? If you don't have content, your buzz can begin to die. You haven't converted any fans. It's just not going to work for you. You know what I mean? It's just not going to work for you. Entertainment. attention span of listeners. Yeah. That's what I was referring to. The attention span of listeners and potential fans. Now, once you've converted them to your fan base, their attention spans are 10 times better because they already know you. They already know that they're there to see you or hear you. But as an artist who's first starting off, who's just starting off, you don't have a lot of time. You know what I mean? As an artist who's just starting their career, or an artist who's just beginning to take their career serious or putting projects out, you don't have a lot of time to try to catch folks' attention, or you don't have a lot of time to waste when you're putting music out, or you don't have a lot of time to put 20 tracks on your EP and think that they're going to listen to every single song. They're not going to do it. You know, they're not going to do it. The best that you can get from a 20-song EP is for them to skip through every song until they find something remotely that they like. You know what I mean? Until they find something that they remotely like. And they're still not going to listen to the whole thing. They're still not going to listen. You overloaded them. You ran them away. You know what I mean? You ran them away. I guess what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying now is in your beginning stages. Your most important objective is to put out quality before quantity and to convert some of these people into your fan base. You know what I mean? Now, once you have a fan base of around 100 people, yes, you can drop as much songs as you like. You can drop all those songs and you can watch your views just go up. You can watch your views keep on elevating, and you can watch your fan base grow a little quicker because you got 100 people advocating for your music. You know what I mean? You have 100 people advocating for your music, but in the beginning, you have nobody. In the beginning, you have nobody. Nobody's looking for you, and nobody cares about you being an artist. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about you being an artist in the beginning. So you got to be careful about all of these things. You got to be careful. Don't just drop all of this music and don't put out bad quality music. You got to do everything right. You know what I mean? You got to do everything right. But as I said before, the title of this video, as up to the title of this video, make sure you don't just rely on streaming by itself, bro. Make sure you don't rely on streaming by itself. You know, now I could tell there's a way for you to eat off of streaming. There is a way for you to eat off streaming primarily. If that's all you want to do is drop music and make money from your streams, it's possible. It's absolutely possible. You know what I mean? It's absolutely possible. I can tell you that from firsthand that I've seen how it's done, or I know how it's done, to where you can create a system to where you can get as many streams as you like, but it's expensive. It's expensive. And I'm assuming that you're all starting from a point where you're trying to be as cost effective as possible. You know what I mean? I'm assuming that you're starting from a point where you're trying to be as cost effective as possible. So we don't want to blow your budget on trying to get a decent amount of streamers so that we can live off of our streams. That's going to take time too, though. It's going to take time too. But it's a whole bunch that you can do out here in order to make sure that people are constantly streaming your music, or to make sure that in the long run, you're not just going to be left out here with a whole bunch of music on DistroKid and no money to show for it. You feel me? That's my worst fear for you guys. I don't want you to have a whole bunch of music on DistroKid and nothing to show for it. You feel me? I'm seeing it done already. I've seen many artists who have so many songs on DistroKid, but they're just not bringing in a fan. They don't have a fan base in order to justify it. You feel me? They don't have the power behind them in order to justify them having 100 songs on DistroKid or 50 songs on DistroKid right now. It's not a good move, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's not a good move, so to speak. But at the same time, contradictory, you got a place where everybody can come and listen to your music. Everything gold like the Gramz. Paris 45, what's good with you, bro? Much love, man. Appreciate you for coming through. Appreciate you for coming through, man. You know what I mean? We just in here discussing these streams right quick, bro. We're discussing these streams right quick. I feel like a lot of artists don't really understand. They don't understand the position they put themselves in when they decide to solely rely on streams in order to get their careers to another level. You know what I mean? It's only one part. It's only one part. And when it comes to the money, it's one of the smallest parts there. It's one of the smallest parts you have. But when it comes to your fan base building or whatever, what else you have, it's important to a certain extent. It's important to a certain extent. You know what I mean? But that's just where we at with it, man. That's just where we at with it. Got to make sure you guys realize this, bro. Got to make sure you realize this. You don't want to be out here with all of this music up, not securing any kind of money from your streams. I'm assuming that at this point in your careers, the last few times that you got paid from DistroKid, you've probably only gotten to the 50 cent mark. You know what I mean? 50 cent or 75 cents or so, something around that. That's like average for I would assume that that's average for an independent artist. Gio says, but how can you have a fan base if you just been out for a while? Now, when you say a while, you mean like you just started, or you mean that you've been out for a long time? Clarify that for me. When you say just been out for a while, you mean that you just started, or you mean that you've been out for a long time? Try to take all the royalties from us. And you know what I mean? That's it, bro. That's exactly what it is. Nobody values the artist, bro. Nobody values the artist. People use artists. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are being used and don't even realize it. You guys are letting these companies come in and say, boom, let me put your music on this platform, but we're only going to pay you half of a penny out of every stream that you get, or out of every subscriber that we have. You know what I mean? It's just not, it's not a nice situation. No, I've been out for a minute. I only got a little fan base. Well, see, that's the thing, bro. I'm glad you said that. Thanks for all the knowledge, bro. KVSC, I appreciate you for coming through, bro. You know what I mean? We do this every Sunday, bro, 6:00 p.m. every time. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying not to miss a day this year. I don't think I have thus far, but every Sunday at 6 p.m., bro. Make sure you come in, because we always got different topics. I'm trying to make sure that these topics stay fresh. You know what I mean? Make sure that they stay fresh so you're not learning the same thing over and over again, which is also not a bad thing that you're learning over and over, but got to make sure that you are elevating in all areas. Depends on your target audience. Social media is just used nowadays as a promotional tool. Exactly. It's only a tool. It's only a tool. Well, Gio, you've been out for a minute, but the time frame in what you've been out is not directly correlated with how many fans you have. You know what I mean? It's a difference. You know what I mean? Those are two different worlds. Excuse me. Is 200 listeners good? That depends, bro. 200 listeners as in that, like, always listening, or 200 listeners as in you've gotten 200 views off of your project currently. You know what I mean? The only way to say that you have a fan base is if you have solid numbers of people. You know what I mean? But time in the industry is not in any way related to how many fans you have. As far as if you've been in the industry for 10 years, it doesn't mean that you're supposed to have a lot of fans. It just doesn't convert like that. But depending on what systems you have set up, if you have a system set up in order to convert people into fans, then you can get as many fans as you like, bro. You know what I mean? The most simple way that I can tell you is when people go to Apple Music, or when people go to Spotify, when people go to Tidal, they have the option to add your music to their playlist, right? Or they got the option to add your music to their library. You could consider them a fan because they're going to be listening to your song back and forth throughout the week. You feel me? Now, if you had 10 people doing that, you can get 100. You can get 100 streams just like that. If you had 1,000 people doing that, you can get 10,000 20,000 streams in no time, within a month or so. But that's the thing. You can't tell these people who are listening to your music when you drop something new, they kind of got to guess, or you got to pay money to get the advertisement out to them again. The question is, how do you make sure, how do you reach your fan base when you want to reach them? You know what I mean? How do you reach them when you want to reach them? What kind of system can you build as an artist that's going to guarantee that you can have a direct channel of communication with your fans? You know what I mean? That's what I'm telling you guys, bro. Streaming by itself is not enough. Streaming by itself is not enough, because what you're doing is you're sending people over to these companies that are charging them $10 for their subscription, but you only getting half pennies off of that. You know what I mean? You only getting half pennies off of that. If we were to do the math right now, if we were to do the math on what that is, you will be surprised. You'll be surprised at how much Apple Music is making and how little they're paying you as the artist for your streams. Listeners, if you have 200 listeners, bro, honestly, you should be, you should be well on your way to making a good living from your music. You know what I mean? But 200 listeners, do you have their contact information? That's the question. Before, let me take back that last statement and ask you, do you have their direct contact information, or is it just 200 random people that you don't even have their profile pictures or their profile names? It's on that Piff Audio Mac and it's doing okay. How can I make this next album better? If this first album is dope, if you just dropped it, it may be too soon for another album, bro. Before you came in here, I was telling folks that what you don't want to do is keep on dropping music without realizing that it doesn't matter how much music you drop. It's about how you market what you currently have out. You know what I mean? It's about how you market what you currently have out. How are you promoting that first project? What's your promotion method? How are you promoting that? We have to do it ourselves by all means necessary. Paris, you're right about that, bro. You're right about that. Nobody's giving it to us, man. Nobody's giving it to us. They're not giving it to us. They're not saying, okay, you get $1 for every stream, or you get 1 cent. You can't even get 1 cent. They're not saying you get 25 cents for every stream. They can't. You know what I mean? They can't do it. It'll run them bankrupt. That's the secret. That's why they charge so low, because an experienced artist who knows how to run traffic to their project, you can end up making a bunch of money. If they were giving you $1 for every stream, they're not trying to do it. It'll run them bankrupt. But you still have an opportunity to get a large sum of money from these platforms if you do it properly. You know what I mean? My manager doing all the show booking and contact. Well, you know, that's not your promotion. That's going to be your booking. That's a whole different ball game. As far as digitally, how are you promoting that project? You know what I mean? How are you sending traffic? How are you sending random people to that project so they can check it out and decide whether or not they want to become a part of your movement or a part of your fan base? Most of them random. Well, see, 200 listeners is totally different. That's a totally different thing from 200 fans. You know what I mean? 200 listeners is a different thing from having 200 solid fans. If you have 200 fans, you have 200 contacts, 200 people that you can contact, and you can send your music directly to them for free. You know what I mean? That's what a fan base is. If you have contacts of 200 people and you can send your music to them without having to pay for advertisements anymore, or without having to pay somebody else to do it, they're your fans. You can do as you please with them. So, you know, random listeners is cool, but in the long run, you want to start converting those random people into solidified fans. Making CDs and selling them around your city, Okay. Well, you know, that's organic. and that's going to be your street team or your street hustle with it. But you know, you got to think about the bigger picture here, right? Honestly, CDs are even selling CDs are even a better method than selling streams. You know what I mean? CDs are a better method than your streams, because with CDs you make that whole $5 and you get to keep that. You know how long it takes for you to make $5 with streaming, or how many streams you have to get? You know what I mean? You know how many streams you have to get in order to make $5 with your music from your streams? It's kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's not a whole lot, honestly, but for an artist who's just starting out, it's ridiculous. So, you know, I applaud you for selling hard copies, because that's your merchandise. Your merchandise, you can secure as much money as you like. You selling your CDs for $5, but you only getting half pennies for your streams on Apple Music. Would you take the half pennies, or would you take the CDs? You got to do both, honestly. But you know, consider looking into advertisements. Consider everybody here, everybody on YouTube, Facebook 2, Facebook 1, and Instagram. Consider looking into advertisements. You know what I mean? Because even if you are already doing the digital thing, your social media by itself is not enough for you to get your message out to as many people as you would if you were advertising and reaching people that you don't even know. You know what I mean? Let's see. You need loyal fans, not listeners. Exactly. CDs are outdated. Destiny says CDs are outdated. Well, you know, anybody here still use CDs? Any of you guys still use CDs? Press 1 if you still use CDs. I don't use CDs. You know what I mean? You may not use CDs, but it has become a niche market, if you will. You know what I mean? That's what I've learned. I've learned that within the past few months, because I used to be strictly against them. I won't lie to you. And I would be lying if I were to sit up here and told you that I'm not a man who makes mistakes, or I'm adamant in my beliefs. You know what I mean? There was a time where I would bash CDs and I would tell you, don't use CDs. But it just so happens that I've discovered over the past few months, there are a lot of people out here who still use CDs. Now, is it millions of people? Maybe. It's not billions. Not, you know what I mean? There are not a billion people on earth using CDs right now, but there is a niche market for it. And you got to realize that your goal for a CD is not to have them listen to your music up front, but your goal is for you to make $5 off of your music. You know what I mean? So you have to redirect your goal when it comes to your CDs or your hard copies. Come on now. It ain't people. Most of those people don't even play them. They don't even play them. You know what I mean? Their CD players are broke, or they don't even have a CD player. I don't even have a CD player. You know what I mean? So I can't listen to CDs. But when it comes to supporting the artist, or when it comes to letting the artist know, hey, I support you. But if your album not selling on any stream, then how people gonna know who you is and what you getting your message out in your song? Think about it. The only way that your album would, I mean, it's not about album sales when it comes to streaming, because you know it's free music. It's free music. You get paid for your streams for as many times as people play it. But the only way that people wouldn't know that your music is out there online is if you're not properly promoting it online. You know what I mean? I've known many artists to post their mixtape or post their single, post their video to their main profile page, and that's it. You know what I mean? I've known many artists to post their music to their main personal page, and they leave it there, and that's it. That is not properly promoting. You know what I mean? That's not properly promoting. I'm gonna show you guys something. Not today, of course. I'm still waiting for a call back from Facebook about some of the things that I'm doing with my page. I got some blocks on it that I got to get off. You know what I mean? But once I get them off, I'm gonna be able to show you guys exactly how I pushed the single that I released last week. And I'm not an artist once again, but I only did it for a certain cause. But the way that I pushed it, I got, I have about 3,000 views on it, And that was just from a few days. You know what I mean? I'm not even pushing it anymore. But once I start back, I may have to show you guys how I can get it to a few thousand views or whatnot. But, you know, so if you get music from me, it will be a CD and a USB drive for $5. Hey, honestly, Marley Marl, that's a good experience, bro. You know what I mean? That's giving them a good experience, or that's giving them something special. You know what I mean? That's giving them something special, because you can just give them a CD, but it's like, if they don't listen to it, then that's one thing. Or you can give them a CD and a USB. They, you know what I mean? You got a better chance, but you're giving them an experience. It's different from what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? It's different from what everybody else is doing. So that's still a good move or a good promotional strategy to do something that everybody else isn't doing. You know what I mean? Let me stop saying, you know what I mean, man. I'm making myself sick in here. No, but Gio, the most important thing I'm trying to get across to you, bro, don't count digital out. Please don't count digital out, especially when you see where everything is moving. Your hard copy CDs are going to be very effective as far as building your income, or your building your budget for future projects or future endeavors, because you're making $5 off the gate. You know what I mean? You making $5 out the gate. You sell 10 CDs that day, you got $50. You know what I mean? But what about the people outside of the areas that you're able to immediately touch? What about the people that don't live in your area? Or what about the people who don't have CD players, who really want to listen to the music? You know what I mean? You can post it online digitally, but if you just post it on your personal page, it's not going to get out there. It's not going to get out there. So what I've been telling everybody here to do is create a like page on Facebook. You create a like page, and not only do you do that, you educate yourself on advertisements, because your advertisements will get further than your organic promotion. It'll get further than your CDs. It'll get further than everything that you've been doing thus far, and you can focus on other things at that point. You know what I mean? You know what? As a matter of fact, I am doing a bit of testing on a certain song from an artist that stays here. I'm doing some testing on it, and I wish I could show you guys off the bat. Then I would have to turn all of the screens around or whatnot. Maybe we'll do that next week. Maybe once I figure out how I would show you guys, I'll show you what that record is doing. It's actually moving pretty well. You know what I mean? It's actually moving pretty well. And what can I say, man? I practice what I preach. You know what I mean? I practice what I preach. I buy online for 79 cents. I also provide CDs for people who don't got thumb drives. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's a different experience, bro. That's what you want as an artist. You're not selling music, really. You selling an experience. You know what I mean? They're gonna remember that. They're gonna remember that you did that for them, and they're gonna support your music because of that, because it was different from what everybody else is doing. They are a waste of money. You're better off paying for advertisements, promotions. I agree, but like I said before, hey, if I pay $40 or $50 for 100 CDs or 1,000 CDs, no, I don't think you get 1,000. I'm not sure, but if I pay $100 for 500 CDs, and I sell all of those CDs at $5 a piece, you know what I mean? Where's my? Because I'm not trying to be a math whiz right now. You know what I mean? If I sell 500 CDs for $5, that's 2,500. You know what I mean? So it's honestly one of the best flips that you can get, or that you can implement in your music career starting out. You know what I mean? What do we know about CDs? What do we know about them? People are going to buy your CDs, and even if they don't listen to it, they're going to buy them because they want to support you. You know what I mean? Especially if you have a great personality, you approach them with a confidence about yourself. You approach them and let them know that you're trying to motivate your career. They're going to spend the $5 with you. You know what I mean? So in the course of a month, if you travel or if you apply yourself and you run into 500 people that are going to buy your CD, you just made $2,500. You know what I mean? 500 CDs for $5. That's 2,500. Now, how long would it take you to accumulate that from your streams? Not saying that streaming is a bad thing. It is when it comes to your money. You know what I mean? When it comes to your money, it's a terrible thing. But how long would it take you to accumulate 2,500 with your streams alone? There's a calculator for that too online. To be honest with you, I don't want to pull it up or anything. You know what I mean? That's if you're making income. That's not for people to hear your product. So I agree. Yeah, that's my stance on it. I agree with CDs, but I also disagree. You know what I mean? I agree for the method that if an artist was at a all-time low and they were saying, boom, nobody knows who I am, or nobody's listening to my music, and I don't have the money that I would like to have in order to push my music, I would say do CDs, bro. I would say do them, not because it's going to make you famous, but because people are going to invest in you. What you're doing with CDs is you're getting investors. You know what I mean? You're getting people to invest in your product. And if you were to throw some merchandise in with that, you could probably clear about 30 to 20 bucks. You feel me? You could sell the merchandise and give the CD away for free. That's tripling or quadrupling your product, your profit. You know what I mean? That's quadrupling your profit as an artist. I'm telling you guys, don't focus on streaming don't focus on streaming by itself, because you're never going to make any real money with your music if streaming is your main focus. You know what I mean? But you can stream your music, but also over here, you can sell your CDs for $5. Not because you're trying to get famous from them, but if you're an artist that's not making enough money to do what you need to do, that $5 is going to go a long way when it's accumulated. And if you want to go to a step above that, sell your merchandise, sell your t-shirt with your stamp on it, sell that for $20, or sell that and something else for 20, 30 bucks and give them the CD for free. You feel me? You doubling, quadrupling your monies. You doing all of that with your monies. And meanwhile, you got more money to put into your advertisements so your streams can continue to thrive. You know what I mean? What time is best to call? I would say like right after live chat, bro. You know what I mean? Right after live chat. I may have an appointment right afterwards, but you know what I mean? I have a little bit of downtime in between in order to wrap it up with you right quick. You know what I mean? But think about it, man. Think about it. I'm not telling you guys to sell CDs because I want you to get rich off of them, or I want you to be successful because I want somebody to discover you. No, I'm telling you that because honestly, you just, depending on how you do it, you just might come out of that situation with a new fan. You know what I mean? That's face to face. They seeing you face to face. You know what I mean? You don't got to be out in the sun sweating. No, you don't have to do that. You probably talk to so many people. You probably talk to so many people on a daily, and you never even think to ask them, would you like to invest in my new project or my new EP? You probably don't even ask them, are you a fan of such and such type of music? Nice too. We can, you know what I mean? I could package it up for you. So what's the problem? You know what I mean? What's the problem? There was a time where there was a time where I said CDs were not the thing to do. But if you got to get out here and add people to your fan club directly or directly face to face, why not? Why not sell your merchandise and why not sell your give them the CD for free with your merchandise? You just made you just made 20 to 30 bucks off of one person, and you just got them your CD, and now you built a rapport with them, so they're going to support your music, bro. They're going to support your music. That's what you should be doing at these events you go to these events and stuff. You shouldn't be going out there just to get on stage. You shouldn't be going to these events just so you can get on stage, just so people can hear your song while you're on stage. They're not going to remember that. They're not going to remember that, but you can leave an impression on people just by speaking to them face to face. You know what I mean? The video stopped. I really don't want to start it back again. Honestly, I think we got to the gist of the conversation. You know what I mean? We got to the gist of the conversation. I'm just keep it off the camera. But it's so many different ways for you to secure your monies from this music career. You know what I mean? It's so many different ways. Don't focus solely on streaming when it comes to your money. Don't focus on streaming at all when it comes to your money. Your only means for streaming is so you can put your music where people can hear it. That's it. You know what I mean? That's it. Don't focus on streaming saying that you're gonna get rich on it tomorrow. You're not gonna get rich off of streaming. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get rich off of streaming at this point in your career. You know what I mean? So while you're streaming your music, realize that it's only so people can hear it, and you need to have other income sources for your music in play. I just gave you like 2. You know what I mean? I gave you 2. You can print up CDs, and you don't have to be out waiting in front of an establishment selling them. You don't have to do that. But when you run into somebody, or if you're talking to somebody, learn how to spark conversation. Spark a conversation between them. Ask, and then you can lead it into asking if they would like to invest in your project. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to be a people person for that. So, and I know a lot of people are not people persons. A lot of people don't want to do that. But hey, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? What you gonna do? Your music career needs money. You also need streaming, but they ain't paying you enough. So what? What else is there at this point? Once you get your fan base large enough, and once your brand is strong enough, yes, streaming will bring you 10 grand, 5 grand, 2 grand a month. But for now, you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere for now, and that somewhere is at the bottom, and that's a beautiful place to be because you can learn how to maneuver. You can learn how to survive. You can learn how to hustle. You can learn how to build, communicate, how to build relationships with people. You know what I mean? I said a mouthful, bro. I said a mouthful. We probably gonna be getting up out of here, man. You know what I mean? We already at the hour mark. But before we do, is there anybody who has any questions as far as what we went over today, or any other questions pertaining to their music careers? Instagram ended out. I didn't even know that. I didn't know an hour passed so quick. Anybody else got any questions as far as their music career is concerned, or pertaining to their music? You gotta excuse me. I'm over here checking. Makes plenty of sense. Tight Jill, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's just facts, man. It's just facts, bro. Like, I don't know. We're in an age now where you have artists who want to be famous, or who want overnight success. They just want things to work for them without having to put in the basic fundamentals. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? It's never going to work like that. The best place, the best place to stream your music, you can only figure that out. It's different for everybody, bro. It's different for everybody, because you can actually they probably have statistics. You know what I mean? Here's what I would do. What's that? I had to see what beat that was. They probably have a statistic for the highest stream genre on every one of these platforms. If I was an artist, I would look at the statistics. If Apple Music was the #1 place for hip hop music, and I'm a hip hop artist, I'm going to probably promote that more than anything. If country music was the most popular on Spotify, you know what I mean? But I'm trying not to give a very powerful lesson right now. You know what I mean? I want to wait until you guys wrap your minds around what we're talking about here before I give you some powerful techniques. But ultimately, you're going to have to experiment. You're going to have to experiment with all of them to see where your plays are coming from or where your monies are coming from. You know what I mean? You're going to have to do a lot of experimenting, bro. You're going to have to do a lot of experimenting because I can't tell you what the best place to stream your music is. It may not be the same for everybody. Depending on the kind of music that you do, your best place to stream may be Tidal. You know what I mean? But if you're talking about pay, Tidal pays you the most. Tidal and Napster is going to pay you the most, but nobody's really using Napster and Tidal. Tidal is new to the game, is new to the industry. So I don't know. You never know how long Tidal may last. You don't know how long any of them may last, to be honest. But if everybody that's streaming hip hop music is on Tidal, that's a good look because you're going to get most of your money from them. What's the best way to invest your own money? I would say the best way to invest your money is to put it up for now and invest your time into learning about an investment vehicle. You know what I mean? Now, an investment vehicle can be anything. If your investment, like for instance, your investment vehicle is your music. You feel me? You put money into your music properly, it'll bring that money back tenfold. Some people's investment vehicle is real estate. So they put their money into a house and it'll bring it back tenfold, or houses or land property, it'll bring it back tenfold. Your best bet or the best way for you to invest your money right now is to hold on to it, not too long, but hold on to it for a month or two. You feel me? And heavily invest your time into educating yourself about whatever your investment vehicle is going to be. To be honest with you, I would say hold off on it for about 6 months. You know what I mean? 6 months of just nonstop YouTube videos, nonstop reading, nonstop consulting, nonstop everything. You feel me? Because once you do that, there's nothing stopping you, bro. You know what I mean? There's nothing stopping you. All you have to do is rinse and repeat your results. And then you'll be able to start a label and you can do it for other people too. So that's where you invest money. The number one reason why investments don't work is because people go into it unprepared mentally. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, telling me it's people out here with hundreds of $1,000s that go broke or don't get to a point in whatever they're doing to where they can turn that 100 grand into $1 million. You know what I mean? It's because they didn't know better. You know what I mean? They didn't know better. You got to know better first. You know what I mean? What's the best way to invest your money? No, man, but you know what I mean? That's a powerful that's a powerful lesson right there. You know what I mean? Always invest your time first. Before you invest your money, invest your time. Make sure you know exactly what you're talking about and you know exactly what you need to do. Once you learn that, then you invest your money. You know what I mean? That's when you invest your money. No, man, we about to get on up out of here, man. You know what I mean? We about to get on up out of here. I'm about to go and prepare for this next appointment I have coming through shortly. But you know, afterwards, it is what it is, man. We go on through the week and life goes on. But you know, every Sunday at 6 p.m. is when we do these live chats. Appreciate you guys for coming. Much love, man. You know what I mean? I'm glad that you guys are taking your career serious and trying to elevate yourselves. As long as you're willing to do so, I'm willing to keep on going hard and providing the information, doing the testing. You feel me? I'm doing testing on certain things right now, making sure that they work for you guys and not against you. It's a lot going on that you guys don't know about. So all I can recommend is that you be a part of it, because I'm telling you right here, once this testing, I know it's going to work. Once I perfect it and I show you guys the very first artist or the very first handful of artists that are going to be successful off of the things that I'm teaching you, it might be too late. You know what I mean? It might be too late. My schedule is crazy as it is. So imagine me having to properly manage the systems that I've created for independent artists. It's going to be too late to get anything out of it. So get it now. You know what I mean? Get it now while it's here. Get it while it's free or pay the fee. You feel me? But enough of that, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. If you guys going anywhere tonight, be safe on the road. If not, still be safe, man. And spread the love, bro. Spread the love and have empathy for your fellow man. You know what I mean? Have empathy and realize we all just trying to find our way out here. You know what I mean? Invest in your fellow man. Love your fellow man. You know what I mean? Just spread the love out here, bro. You know what I mean? It's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. We might as well do that. Appreciate you guys for coming through, man. And YouTube, appreciate you guys for coming through as well. You know, YouTube a whole different thing.